that folks might have, that want to pitch and contribute, and that way it really is something that belongs to all of us.
All right.
Okay.
Now, I did say this was my first time, right? We had to start this interview.
Maybe once. Maybe. What? You didn't record?
No! Well, that was good practice.
That was such a good interview.
Oh no!
I asked you if you hit record, and I didn't hit it on the.
Yeah, I recorded.
Yeah.
But
that's only one microphone.
Oh.
So I can go back and I can see what I can pull through. But if you don't mind, I'm
good practice.
so sorry.
I hope that we can be as eloquent.
I don't know.
Okay. So start again with your names.
Okay. Emily Blankenship-Tucker.
We're sure we're recording, right? Okay.
Yes.
Rebecca Saunders.
All right. We can't afford not to record.
Are we actually recording though?
We are actually recording.
Take two.
Oh, take two. And so we're here in Ferrum, a few feet past the Ferrum College at the Farmers Market. Can you give us a description of what we're sitting in today?
Sure. We're right here next to Route 40, and you may notice some signs and vendors and lots of traffic on Thursday afternoons. We have a farmers market right here on this site. There's a food truck. There are lots of crafts people and local farmers with really delicious stuff this time of year.
Yes.
And so we're on the land, the 84-acre tract that Friends of Ferrum Park is working to acquire in order to create a park that will be public, open, accessible to everybody in the county. So we'll keep the farmers market, keep the events that we've been having here, and our intention is that we'll have a space that everybody can use and enjoy.
Okay, and I'd like to hear more about, so we got two things from there to jump into. One, who we are, Friends of Ferrum Park group. Can you tell me a little bit more about who the Friends of Ferrum Park group and when they got together?
So yeah, Friends of Ferrum Park started about 18 months ago, so we're fairly new. But we come from the Ferrum Forward group, which was a community group that got started after the county did their Ferrum Village Area Plan, which is essentially like a plan to help determine like how to improve the village of Ferrum. From that, the Ferrum Forward group got started, and they've done multiple projects throughout town trying to like beautify, improve. They started the farmers market in 2021. And it started up at a church parking lot just in town because that was the only place that would allow for them to set up. There is no public space in Ferrum whatsoever. There's not even a park bench that's public right now. So there was nowhere for them to do it. It had to be private property. The church was the only one that said that was okay, so they set up there for about 2 years. Last year the church changed hands and now they couldn't set up anymore. So we kind of scrambled to find a place to have the farmers market, and the county had the land sitting here. So we asked, or can we use it? Can we use it for the farmers market? And thankfully they said yes. And that was last fall. We had I think 5 or 6 evening markets, which were phenomenal. And they did really well. We ended up doubling the amount of customers who came from the one that was up at the church. And then this year we've been able to triple it. So that's been fantastic. But from Ferrum Forward, all the folks who make up Friends of Ferrum Park are members of Ferrum Forward. So what happened was a few years ago, the county had earmarked this property to do a large-scale, high-density subdivision. They were looking for developers to come in and put in between 140 to 400 houses. When they were putting their plan together, they said, things like, there'll be a park, there'll be community amenities, things like that. When the plan finally came out in May of last year, it was not that at all. It was high-density housing with no community amenities. So the community said, wait a minute, what do we do? You said that we would get these different amenities. And so we came up with a plan, an entire kind of blueprint for what could be done with the land that could be for community use. And that was based on a survey that we did last year. And we surveyed people through Facebook, through our website, through all of our meetings, through the farmers market. And we ended up getting almost 200 responses. And from that, we took all of the responses of what people wanted to see, and we came up with a plan for a park. And when the county opened up the property for a RFP process, request for proposal, we sent them in a proposal. And it did include limited housing that was ADA accessible. They were requiring housing, but we do know that there is a need for that kind of housing here too. So it was a dual approach, but we did it with limited amounts, so we didn't have to destroy a lot of the trees, we didn't have to cut a lot of stuff down. And we did it affordably, which for all the people that we had come out to help us with our plan, things like developers, people who were retired contractors, they told us, keep it right along the road, it'll help keep costs down, it'll help make it even more accessible. So we ended up with this whole fully fleshed plan based on all of that data, including the data from Franklin County. And we presented it to them as an option. And they ended up only getting one other proposal, and that one was for high density mobile home park. And they said no to both proposals, which was a really fun day. But thankfully they did end up voting to, right after that, to go into negotiations with us to sell Friends of Ferrum Park the 2 parcels that are here. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay. So it really sounds like the Ferrum community's kind of banded together with this idea of let's build the amenities and the housing will follow, as opposed to what the county's suggesting is put housing in and we'll get around to amenities.
Yes.
That's a great way of putting that. Yes, because we do recognize that you were asking earlier about how does one become of Ferrum, and the truth is that we know that there are folks who work in this community who are commuting from other places and so forth, and would like to live here, and so as a community we recognize that need. This particular property and the plans for it have evolved some as we've been in discussion. So that is so really this plan for this property is the farmers market, the park itself, and then as you said, we intend that as even more folks discover that this is a really wonderful place to live and be and work and want to be our neighbors, that's also something that we're working towards.
And so I'll confess on the second run that it is a second run because I personally forgot to hit the record button. And I had a beautiful description from both of you of what becoming a Ferrum person is like and how the community is something that you become part of. And one of the things, just thinking about the trees, and I'll pose this as a new form of this question, is it sounds like when you move to Ferrum, there's parts of Ferrum you want to be here. And trees sounds like one of those things. Like if you move to Ferrum, you want a tree near your house.
Yes.
So a park or a housing area without trees would kind of be not Ferrum.
Yes.
What about Ferrum needs to be present in whatever housing? So
right.
It sounds like play, access to communities, access to crafts and artisans, all needs to be part of Ferrum. So starting with that really does seem brilliant. What else do you have to be Ferrum?
Well, I think that as a community, we really enjoy working with each other and learning from each other and sharing our unique gifts and often our very unique and separate points of view. That we like living in a place where that's possible, and I think we really value Ferrum for what it is. You know what I mean? Like we're not. I don't think anybody moves to Ferrum in hopes that it will someday be more like Richmond, right? we live here because we love it here, and I think that making sure that we protect the places where we can come together, making sure that we make it hospitable so that as people come to town, they have a place where they could stop or use a public restroom take a walk with their dog, or
Things you don't
sit-
realize you need until you need them.
sit down. Yeah,
But just mingle with their neighbors. So
Yes, exactly.
this is Ferrum's version of Studio 44.
Right.
Yeah, no, 100%.
This is the place to be.
This is the farmers market, and we've said this in 100 different ways. It is not a farmers market, it is a social gathering. People come here and
I can
spend
see- yes.
hours talking to each other, and it's my favorite thing because you'll have people who haven't seen each other in like years, and all of a sudden they're both here at the same time, and now we've got picnic tables for folks to sit at, and they grab food and have dinner together. Like, it's the best.
So Ferrum's doing it right. They're promoting getting outside and actually talking to your neighbors.
Yes.
Face to face without
Yes.
cell phones.
We feel that is a long-term goal for our community.
And I think it always bothers me because people will say, like, the kids don't want to stay in Franklin County because there's nothing to do. But it really feels like we don't invest in the things that there are to do.
Yes.
And so this is one of the things to do. Like, my daughters love some of the things that are being sold here.
Yes.
And getting a chance to play on the park that would be here is something that I think my kids would desire to have their kids come back, and then I would not have to go after them. So it does sound like we're reminded of the things that are well done that bring people to a community. And one of the things you talked about earlier about as you were laying out the plan, that it was ADA accessible. And I think there's a lot of folks, my wife even this last year ended up on a scooter for foot surgery. And so that thought, can you tell us a little bit more about the ADA accessibility and how that's a forethought in the park?
Oh yeah, so a lot of us have family members who have had mobility issues, and I think you don't realize how impactful it is to not be able to get somewhere until you can't. And so it's that whole where you lead with it and you realize that if you make it more accessible, all of a sudden the quality of life for everyone in the community improves, because it takes nothing away to make something ADA accessible. All it does is add. So it's fantastic because now we have the opportunity for anybody who maybe is, senior folks who maybe have, 25 acres, but it's all on the side of a hill. And now they've got a flat place that they can safely walk, that's in the trees, it's gorgeous, and that's if that we can do that for folks, that's phenomenal. And the best part is anybody can use that trail. It doesn't matter. It's accessible to everybody. And we want all of our amenities to be that way too. We actually, Kathy Champney, our secretary, she was a special education teacher for like many, many, many years. And she has a passion for accessible playgrounds. Mm-hmm. So she is spearheading the playground design to make sure it is fully accessible. We want it to be just for everybody.
That's amazing.
Okay.
And so really, I think it's our own experiences that have led us to make that a priority. And I think that that's great because, and what I love is that all of us have so many different experiences and we're all pulling from different perspectives, but yet when you bring them all together, you get this amazing plan that really, I think, hopefully will make everyone feel welcome here.
And one of the things that we value, I think, as a community is the intergenerational space and time together, time to, again, just to feel like it's not, we don't have just a kid's space and just the place where the only adults hang out, but having ways that we can really be together is really important and really helps us to learn from each other and share what's great about this place moving forward.
I think our trick-or-treat trail is a great example of that too, because last year on top of the Halloween trail we did a trick-or-treat trail, and what we did was we had some of the older community members who maybe live rurally and don't really get trick-or-treaters. They came out and they set up along the trail, they put their chairs out and they had buckets of candy, and so the kids dressed up and it was like fantastic. There was just like this horde of children coming down the road. It was great. You guys are here, right? Yeah. And so then you walk back through the trails, so you're in the woods, and you just collect candy from all these different folks, and the older folks get to see the younger kids dressed up, and the kids get to enjoy like being out in the woods, and it was the best, and I cannot wait for it this year. Oh gosh, I cannot wait.
Oh God. That hit me a little bit because I have these pictures of my grandmother buying candy each Halloween for the two
Oh yes.
that would actually make it to the backwoods to go see her on the route. And but each year she had enough candy where this is the year. So this sounds really wonderful to have a place where you can go out and participate and see everybody in their costume. So now this catering to this eclectic group, what kind of board has had this kind of wide insight? Can you tell me a little bit about the board that's navigating this?
the Friends of Ferrum Park.
Yes.
I'll let Rebecca talk about that.
Yeah. So we have 6 different women we're all from Franklin County. Well, we live here now. You might interview a few more of them, but Kathy Champney's our secretary. They own a small farm. It's a farm that does regenerative, sustainable farming out in Burnt Chimney.
Okay.
And they come in here to our market to set up because they've got a huge following of folks who only want their meat. So that's fantastic.
Okay.
So they come every Thursday to the market, but she's our secretary. I'm the executive director. Rachel Blankenship-Tucker, which is Emily's spouse, is the creative director for us, which is amazing. We have Susan Selvage. She's been here for over 30 years, and she's paralegal. We have, sorry, my brain's going through. Katrina Harrison. She owns Cat's Hidden Treasures in downtown Ferrum. And then, who am I missing?
Kendra,
yes. Kendra Sink. She's actually another vendor that's here at the market. She's lived here her whole life. She's a Franklin County native, and she makes these beautiful, amazing crochet creations. She'll tell you it's a hobby, but really it's an art. So, but yes, and all of us come from pretty darn different backgrounds. We come from all over the place. I'm originally from Ohio. Catherine's from Maryland. Rachel's from Stewart, right?
Yeah, Woolwine. Yeah.
Woolwine, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's this kind of somewhat eclectic group of women who all said, well, why can't we? Essentially, like you said, we can't do something? No, we're definitely going to do it now. So good luck.
Yes, and no matter where you came from, you are Ferrum, and that is absolutely magnificent. Wow. Make sure we covered it. So we talked about the Friends of Ferrum Park, but Ferrum Forward. Mm-hmm. Can we get a little bit of information on Ferrum Forward? Who would like to lead on that?
Yeah, so Ferrum Forward started, like I said, when the Ferrum Village Area Plan came out. It was a group of residents who said, well, we have this plan for how to improve things, so let's do it. And unfortunately, there hasn't been a whole lot of county support. A lot of it's been funded by the community members. They've gotten things like the signs, the welcome signs as you're coming in and out, fully restored. So yeah, we got a grant from the Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge for $1,200 to help restore both of our signs. Mary Turner from Indigo Design, she did them all for us, which she did amazing work.
Yes.
I mean, it looks gorgeous.
She does.
Yeah, and then we've done flower beds. We've repainted lots of different things that needed it. Like it's smaller projects. Oh, we are now on the Virginia Historical Trail. So we have a marker now, and it makes Ferrum officially an historic village, which was phenomenal. And again, all of that was done by folks who, from the college and local folks who live here, they spearheaded that entire thing and wrote the entire, for it.
A great thing about Ferrum Forward too is that it's another place where people can find out what's going on, can sort of keep track of events that are coming up and share with neighbors, can converse about things that are happening and about best ways to get things done. And so that's a really a wonderful thing to be part of, or even just to follow on social media if folks want to know what's going on in Ferrum and want to know when there's something that might be of interest to them or that they want to contribute to.
All right, so give us the social media sites.
Yes.
Where do we need to go?
Ferrum Forward has a group instead of a page. So you go on it and you can interact, you can ask questions, anybody can post. Friends of Ferrum Park has a page instead of a group. So you'll see updates from us as things happen. Like right now we're updating what's happening with the contract with the county. But we also post all of our events, everything that happens. We'll also post progress as the park progresses. So as we start building things, when we need volunteers, all that will go on the Facebook page. And then we have a website, which is yourferrumpark.com. And there you can make donations, you can sign up to volunteer, you can see what our plan is. So you'll get a good idea of exactly what it is that we're aiming to do. and kind of our inspirational pictures. Like, it's our Pinterest board. But it's a great resource to like let people see our vision and what we're hoping to do and what we're aiming to make happen.
Okay.
Any advice? So now, I love Ferrum. I like coming down here, but I'm in the town of Rocky Mount. So now I need a town of Rocky Mount forward.
Yes.
How do I create the same kind of group and inspiration that you've created here in Ferrum in Rocky Mount?
So I think that talking to our neighbors, everybody knows that you go into that one place. Cat's Hidden Treasures is one of those places. If you go in and you have something you want to talk about, that's a good place to start, right?
Yes.
And have a conversation, and neighbors talk to neighbors. I think that is so important and something that, face to face in the community, and then, get together and offer, what you can. Everybody has so many different skills, talents, knowledge.
So you mean to tell me you can be friends with somebody that you don't agree with politically?
You sure can.
You have something in common with this person?
Yes.
Occasionally try it. Definitely recommend.
You should definitely do that. And also, think about what we can give. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, for some people that's time, and for some people that's, I know a lot about, I know how to set up a sound system. I can help with that. So things where people are feel welcome to share with each other. I think that's a really big part of it.
It is, and again, in the part we messed up, you shared a lot about folks giving their expertise in terms of being able to recognize where sites could be perked, where construction things could be done. I think you did a great job of following up with some of the specifics. A wonderful job of filling in some of those gaps. Folks who want to volunteer and give time, they can go to the websites. But what you're really looking for is this upcoming Tuesday.
Yes.
Is to get people in to make sure that the town council knows something important is happening here in Ferrum, and we would like to support it.
Yes.
So can you tell us how we can do that?
The Board of Supervisors is going to meet at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, July 16th. They meet in the County Administration Building, which for folks who haven't been here long enough is the old Winn-Dixie. And it's just on Route 40 between Ferrum and Rocky Mount. And everybody's welcome. You can, just walk in. What we would love to have happen is that the room be full of people who are in support and want to show that they support this park proposal and show the supervisors, that we're really serious about this as a community. We're especially reaching out to folks that have families and have young kids, because we just think that having kids in the Board of Supervisors meeting would be refreshing and help us to really show what it is that we're all about. So if people would like to come on Tuesday, that would be really incredible. If folks can't come, to call their supervisor, to call the board and let them know. And again, on social media, you can find everybody's phone number. So you can call members of the board and express your support, and also, to ask questions. There are a lot of different facts that have been true at different points, different stages in this process. So if folks have questions, they can, reach out, send a Facebook message, or reach out and let somebody, help you decide whether this is something you want to support, and I'm sure it will be.
And we're incredibly accessible. Like, that's the one thing that we want to make sure. If you have a question, if you have an idea, come talk to us. Yes. Like, we want to hear it. Like, and we want to answer it. We love talking about the park project. Like, it's something that we could do all day if you let me. And all of our board members and all of our advisors are the same way. Like, you will find everybody's extremely passionate about what we're trying to do, and they will talk your ear off about it if you give them a chance.
And so it sounds like if I go on the website, I can see some of these visions in pictures.
Indeed, yes.
Is there anything on those that you're particularly proud of? Somebody needs to get in there and search. This is the one that you were like, I'm glad.
I can tell you what I'm most excited about. I'm really excited about the amphitheater. I mean, like, really, really, really excited about it, because the entire goal and the vision for it is to keep it as natural as possible. So and it's just, that's what I want, but we'll see what everybody else decides too, because again, this is a group project. But no, is this kind of concept of you're kind of nestled in and you're kind of immersed in nature while being able to enjoy this amazing like theater experience. Like that's the goal, that's the hope.
Now, I know there's some musical talent in Ferrum.
There's some musical talent in our group.
I'll say we have a theme song for the podcast. You gotta give a shout out.
Dave Campbell actually sings the theme song for our podcast. So coming into this, I did not know
that. That's fantastic.
The song is Any Place Instead. He wrote it kind of at the height of the 2019, 2020, everything getting weird, and the idea in it was that the person they're talking to is just not into the conversation. And so the goal of this is to have conversations with people and kind of keep that light lit and realize that our politicians are not angry people who don't want us to get what they want, but we have to go out as people and tell them we all want this thing.
Yes.
And it sounds like you've done a great job of offering a vision up. Now we just need to get out there, take a look at the vision, and figure out how best we can support it, to use our own talents.
Yes, and thank you for using your talents to help us spread the word, because I know that there are folks who probably don't know exactly what's going on and might want to know. And like you said, it's not just about Ferrum. Those of us who live in Ferrum are really excited to live in Ferrum and excited about this project. But this kind of community work, can take place in our communities all over the county, and we can all benefit from supporting each other.
Yes. And I got to say, visit. I know somebody like it's far out. Ferrum is not far out, but as you come out, you kind of just slow down a little bit, and I think that's why it feels far.
You better slow down.
Yeah, right.
But it's not far out, and this market's really not. It's right past the college.
Right.
It's immediate, and it's a wonderful place to stop. So give us the dates and times to show up here, and then close out with the time to show up at the.
So the Ferrum Farm and Craft Market is every Thursday from 3 to 7 p.m. And we are, if you do 10884, so 10884 Franklin Street, Ferrum. If you GPS that, it'll bring you right here.
Okay.
It's the best way I know how to tell folks to get here.
Yes, I do. People will tell me directions, and I just tune out until they give me the address.
Yes, or just come down Route 40 if you're coming from Rocky Mount. Come down Route 40 past the elementary school on the left, and you're gonna get to the Ferrum Farm and Craft Market site on the right. You also make sure that folks please spread the word. Please invite your friends' children to come out on Tuesday, July 16th at 6 p.m. at the County Administration Building for the Franklin County Board of Supervisors meeting.
Yes.
We hope to see you there.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got.
I heard a man talking, didn't know what he was saying, but he kept on spilling his words just the same. His mind seemed scrambled like a burned out candle, with half the wick missing and a nothing for flame. Give me a savior that takes me away. Give me a blanket and a space for my head. When time descends like an old stage curtain on the back of my eyelids, I'll be in a place instead. You just kept rambling, talking 19 to the dozen, like a worn out needle tripping right across that groove. He said there's a silence that's creeping in darkness, but why look for answers when there's nothing to prove? Give me a savior that takes me away. Give me a blanket and a space for my head. time descends like an old stage curtain on the back of my eyelids, I'll be any place instead. If time were elastic, would we dare ask it to hold on to something before it melts down like ice? And if we could listen, we'd hear back the laughter, 'cause no one ever wades through the same river twice. Give me a savior who takes me away. Give me a blanket and a space for my head. When time descends like an old stage curtain